Hello, and welcome to Deconstructing Standards. As you review this professional development, please feel free to stop the recording and work with your team on deconstructing standards. In this session, we hope to provide insight on deconstructing standards to create quality learning experiences for all of your students. As you work through this session, think about your learning targets. Are they clear and understandable? Do you use student-friendly language? Do students understand what they need to master the standard? Our objective for this session is for you to have a deeper understanding of how to deconstruct a standard and how this process will help create clear and understandable learning targets for your teachers and students. When you deconstruct a standard, you will create learning targets that are clear for students and teachers. As your teams go through this process, you will develop a common understanding of the standard, clarifying expectations for teachers and students. You will be able to identify critical content and skills needed for instruction, as we determine which depth of knowledge level is most appropriate for items aligned to this specific standard. As you start to deconstruct standards, use these steps as your guide. Read through standards. Circle verbs to identify key skills. Underline nouns and noun phrases to identify key concepts. As you move through these steps, think about what your targets are in the standard. What key vocabulary do students need to know? What key understandings do they need to have? Once you have deconstructed a standard, stop and reflect. Are all of the knowledge, reasoning, skills, and products that students need to be successful from the standard listed in your chart? What else do students need to know, understand, or be able to master in this standard? Please take a moment to review the following middle school ELA standards. With your team, read through the standards, circle verbs to identify key skills, underline nouns and noun phrases to identify key concepts. Then, spend some time reflecting with your team and create student-friendly learning targets. Based on the standards you just reviewed, what learning targets would you have? Remember, a learning target answers questions of what a student should know, understand, and be able to master in the standard. As you plan your lessons, ask yourself the following questions. What knowledge will the student need to learn? What patterns of reasoning will students need to master? What performance process is required? What products should students produce? You may be asking yourself, why should I spend the time deconstructing standards? Well, as you deepen your knowledge of standards, you will really be encouraged to use some good teaching strategies. If you look at the Marzano learning map, we highlighted some indicators that you will become more proficient in because you took the time to deconstruct your standards. The next 3 slides will walk you through a basic outline for a standard-based lesson plan. Typically, you will start with a bell work that will take between 10 and 12 minutes. Your bell work can be modeled after a test specification item or question stem. Your whole group lesson will take between 20 and 30 minutes. You may want to try the gradual release model as shown on this slide. At the end of each lesson, you should have some type of wrap-up. This could be an oral or a written synopsis of the lesson, a formative assessment, or a reflection upon student learning. This wrap-up can help plan instruction for the next day. Thank you for your participation in this session. Our hope is that this session will guide you to plan standard-based lessons in the future.